So tell me, which would you rather do? Go to the movie theater and be very disappointed in the new Star Wars, or sit down with a classic arcade experience and have a great time? Well, I am the Game Collector, and this is Second Opinion Games, and today I review the original trilogy of arcade machines for Star Wars.
Second Opinion Games.
So let's start off where it all began, and that is the original Star Wars machine. It's very well known for its vector graphics, and they do look gorgeous even to this day. The sound effects are all pretty darn good as well. I like the subtle use of colors, but you know, with vectors, it's really, really difficult to get all the colors to pop, so there's only a handful here and there. So you start off the game blowing away TIE fighters, listening to the awesome digitized speech of your comrades, and flying very, very smoothly, taking out these TIE fighters. Then it's time to take out some towers. This part is actually pretty neat, and depending on which level of difficulty, sometimes it's not even there at all, sometimes they're full towers, sometimes they're just like little pods on the ground, but any way you cut it, this part is actually pretty fun as well, because, trust me, the original Star Wars, the whole game is a blast. Then it's time for the awesome, the infamous Trench Run. Now, you all know the Trench Run, and it feels exactly how you think it would feel. Great music again going on, really getting your adrenaline rushing. This time though, there's no TIE fighters trying to take you out in the trench, so no Darth Vader here. It's just a bunch of turrets trying to take you out, and eventually you'll come to that exhaust port where, just like on your T-16 back home, you fire a direct shot right down it, completely obliterating the Death Star. And it goes down in awesome fashion. Matter of fact, I prefer this explosion to the extended special edition explosion that I just don't care much for. This single game is one of the best Star Wars experiences you will ever have. So, it gets definitely an A+ rating. Let's move on to Empire Strikes Back. Of course now, this is Empire Strikes Back, one of the best movies ever made. So of course it has a great video game. And just like in the movie, you fight an army of droids at the beginning of it. Well, I know there was just one in the movie, but they took a little bit of a weird stance here and decided to throw them all over the place to make it a little bit more exciting. So you take out a whole bunch of them, and then you come to the great Battle of Hoth, where there's AT-STs and ST-ATs and all these other acronyms just walking towards you as fast as possible. Well, kind of slow actually. And of course you have to use your harpoon gun to take them out, which basically just means fly past them, kind of close. And they're dead, and you win. This is one of the shortest levels, but it does look the coolest, especially with the vector graphics. Then we go on to a really neat space battle, where taking out TIE fighters with Darth Vader's Super Star Destroyer in the background, and there you go. Beautiful once again, and extremely satisfying. If you happen to take out enough TIE fighters, well, then you move on to the asteroid fields. Of course, here all you have to do is dodge the asteroids. You can shoot them and blow some up, but sometimes it's just easier to dodge them all together. And if you come out the other side, you win. That's the whole game of Empire Strikes Back for the arcade. It does loop again and again, every time getting a bit more difficult. Really what drives you in this game is hearing all the voice samples and the terrific music, not to mention having you feel like you're part of the Star Wars experience. This is also an A+ game, and I will play it any day of the week.
He will join us or die.
Of course, now that brings us to Return of the Jedi, and this game is not on par with the other ones. To start off, you have this opening segment here, which I'm going to have you guys listen to here in a second, where it sounds like they tried to link two voices over top of each other. It's pretty bad. Just have a quick listen.
Leader deflector shield will be deactivated when we have confirmation of your code transmission.
Okay, now that we got that out of the way, what about how the game really plays? Well, this time we're in an isometric view, which honestly doesn't work well at all. There's a speeder level where your speeder moves really, really fast, and the hit detection is also very, very off. You don't really need to shoot here at all. You could just fly past the Ewoks' traps and ram the speeder bikes, but most likely a tree is going to take you out. If you can successfully make it to the other side, you become one of the tribe, meeting R2-D2 and C-3PO. And the Ewoks. Yeah, you celebrate because you made it to them, I guess. If you're playing on one of the more difficult levels of difficulty in this game, then you move on to the Wookiee in your walker. And I really don't understand the controls here whatsoever. They feel very, very weird. And if you make it far enough, then it switches to an outer space thing. With great graphics, they look kind of hand-drawn in a kind of weird way, but it's over really, really quick and shoots us right back to the Wookiee, where I still don't know how to control this thing, so I die a lot here. And it keeps doing that, where it switches back and forth between the space scene that controls good and feels right, and then back to the Wookiee, which I can't figure out the controls at all. This goes back and forth for a little while until you reach the end, and you blow up this thing and it burns off Chewbacca's face. Or maybe you could just stay back a little bit and it blows it up right. Either way, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's burning off his face. Okay, let's go up to the last segment of the game. And of course, that is the final Death Star run. Now you're Lando flying through the new Death Star, trying to get to that end thing and blow it up. And sometimes you actually can miss that. And this end piece is rather difficult, especially after you blow up that thing at the very, very end. Then the controls are flipped as your ship folds around. Actually, I'm not even sure if the controls are really flipped. Matter of fact, the controls go really freaking wonky, where I have no idea what direction I'm hitting to go any which way. Sometimes I hit left, I go left. Sometimes I hit left, I go right. Sometimes I hit up, I go down, and it's a mess. It is a continuous mess. And you have one life here. If you crash, you don't get to see the super awesome Death Star exploding. On top of it, it moves twice as fast moving out as it did moving in, meaning you are never going to see that explosion. I tried it at least 20 times. I'm sorry I couldn't get that footage. It's just not there because the game is freaking hard, and I hate this isometric view. On top of it, please stay away from Return of the Jedi, even if it does kind of feel kind of Star Warsy. It's just going to be a big disappointment. You know, like the prequels. Disappointment. So that's it. The original Star Wars arcade games. Not all of them are good, but at least 2 of them are pure gold. And if you're wondering where you can play these yourself, well, hopefully you have a Nintendo GameCube, because they're on the game Star Wars Rebel Strike Rogue Squadron Part 3. You just have to put in a little bit of a code, and you can see Darth Vader walking around all badass, and he looks pretty cool until the disco lights come on, and that's just kind of weird. But the arcade machines are there, and you can play them all. Like I said, you just have to put in a little bit of a code. So these games are great, and there's nothing else weird about this game whatsoever. Matter of fact, the full Rebel Strike game is unbelievably good and is definitely worth owning in your collection. But that's just my opinion. Thanks for watching. So welcome to my channel, and I really hope you liked this video. And if you did, please give a like and hit that sub button. I'm gonna try to release 52 videos minimum in the year 2018. That's one video every single week, consistently, without fail. I'm gonna bring you lots of top 10s, at least 5 more Atari Jaguar reviews, and tons more great content, some of which you might only just see here. PC Engine games, Super Nintendo games that are kind of hard to get, and lots more. So please stick around, and I'll see you again, guys.